Libby's Movie Hunt. I'm your host, Libby Hunt, along with my producer and co-host, Kevin E.
Hey, Libby, how are you?
Good, how are you doing? I was looking down at my phone to see if we were going live, but we are.
Yeah, sorry about that. We stream to so many different places now, it's hard to keep track sometimes.
Yes, we're going live to YouTube, too. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Libby's Movie Hunt. Okay, well, thank you, Kevin, for bringing your darling fiance Elise last week to do the show with you.
Oh, well, thank you. She was actually kind of nervous about it. She's like, I don't do camera stuff, but she had a great time. She loved it.
Okay, didn't y'all used to do radio together?
We did.
And was she on the radio?
Yes.
Y'all were both, did she have a background in that?
Yeah, that's actually how we first met. We both have the same degree in radio, television, and film from UNT.
And so were y'all doing, did you have a little show? You each had your own deal, or what was...
She mostly did behind-the-scenes type stuff, board operating and things like that. But, you know, she had no problem talking into a microphone, but she just didn't like the camera, which is how I used to be, but now I'm totally used to it.
And what station were y'all with? Baylor next year. And
that's always fun.
Doing. Yes, it's fun. And then I'm moving another one into her dorm at SMU in a few weeks, so it's like physically demanding.
That's a lot, especially in this heat.
I know, I'm so hot. We're here in Dallas. It's like, Kevin was just reading the thermometer. It's like 107.
107 degrees.
Crazy.
And it's weird. The pool water is not as warm as I thought it would be.
Really? Because you swam this morning.
I swam this morning and it was a little bit chilly.
That's interesting. Maybe someone dumped some ice in it.
Yeah, maybe.
I heard at one of these water parks they did do that. They put like a truckload of ice in.
Just like tons of bags of ice?
We have a pool, and in the spring I heat it usually, and I turn it off way before the, May even, because if you don't turn it off soon enough, your pool stays too warm all summer. You can't ever get it to cool down. So
that's why a lot of times by this time of year, it's like bath water.
Oh, totally. You don't even want to be out there. So we're in the nice, cool studio talking about movies. So it's a good time to go see movies because it's so hot outside, but there aren't that many great movies. I mean,
it's funny that you mentioned that because I didn't like, well, we can talk about it today, but you and I never had a chance to discuss the newest Purge movie. And the only reason I went and saw it twice was because I had already seen Skyscraper and some other stuff and Ant-Man. And I just wanted to go sit in a nice, cool place for like an hour and a half.
And it's
cool,
just, I can't believe you sat through that again. I didn't like it at all.
It's definitely the worst of the series.
I do not, what did I give it? I don't think I recommended it, did I? I mean, I don't think
you actually reviewed it. I think you and I just talked about it.
I think it's like half popped.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
I still gave it popcorn worthy. I wish I'd given it half.
It's trying to be too political. It makes sense what they're doing, but it wasn't what I expected.
And they'd always done that in the other ones, but it was, subtle, and I get that it's part social allegory, but this one just takes it to in your face. It's too much. Its reach far exceeds its grasp.
Right. I really don't recommend it. But what else did y'all talk about last week?
Hotel Transylvania.
Okay, Hotel Transylvania. And you forgot to talk about Ant-Man.
Completely.
Because y'all just had so much fun chatting together. But I saw Ant-Man too, and you saw it. What did you think? It's the with Paul Rudd.
Yes, and I in general, I've always been a fan of the Marvel movies, and I liked the first one. I thought it was okay. He was a criminal, obviously a part-time thief who, gets this ability. Originally, it's just he can become a lot smaller, but eventually he can manipulate his size to become larger as well. And that's sort of his superpower. But I liked him a lot. I was much more interested in Ant-Man when Paul Rudd was in Captain America Civil War.
Yes.
And I'm like, he was really good in that. And I came to appreciate the character a little more. But this one did not blow me away.
I didn't love it. I thought it was a little boring, as you and I were saying. I actually, because I moved my daughter that weekend, and I went to the movie with she and my son, and I fell asleep. So that's got to, I mean, I had physically helped to move furniture, so I was tired. but, I mean, that's got to tell you something. If I fell asleep in a movie.
We've both been very physically tired before and still stayed awake for the whole movie. Yes, exactly. So.
You can see it without seeing the first one. I saw the first one. I didn't really. One thing I did like about it was when they did make him bigger. Some of the special effects were cool.
They were cool.
I thought it was some really kind of different looking stuff that hadn't seen done, or probably I don't know.
The visuals and the action actually did seem a little bit more extravagant this time around. That was good. But yeah, I mean, you fell asleep, and I remember thinking that was long. And then I looked at the time, and it's only. It's a 2-hour movie. It's not.
That's not that long. But so what would you? I mean, you'd give it probably popcorn worthy. I'd give it.
I don't think it was exciting or as cool as say Avengers: Infinity War. I think it was much more just more satisfying as a summer blockbuster. Yeah, I would still say popcorn worthy. If you're into Ant-Man and you really like the first one, then I think you'll.
Yeah, it's for a certain person.
Yeah,
that would like it.
Yes.
Then, okay, what were we going to talk about next? Oh, you're giving it
I almost
popcorn
forgot.
worthy.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of giving it half pop, but
I meant to give it.
You don't have to show it up there. You don't. They know. Also, maybe just my age. I'm not a fan of superhero movies. I did love Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I loved that. I love the Superman movies. I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. I don't know.
I'm becoming less and less. I was much more enthusiastic about it when I was younger.
Well, Superman, the original ones with Christopher Reeve, I loved. Loved. Okay, but this is finally a good summer movie. I went to see last night with a group of ladies, and my daughter was there too, Mamma Mia, too. Well, it's not called Mamma Mia. Here We Go Again, from that song. Do you have any desire to see it?
I've never seen the first one, and I've always had trouble getting into musicals in general.
Okay, that's a typical guy, really.
Is that? I mean, because my dad loves musicals.
My dad does too. That's so funny. It for a sequel, it was exceptional. At 80% on Rotten Tomatoes,
which I think is maybe even higher than the original.
Maybe. I mean, it's not as good as the first, but it's very good. It's got an all-star cast again. It has Amanda Seyfried. Okay, I'll have to put my glasses on.
I know Meryl Streep and Pierce Brosnan for sure.
Meryl Streep, Pierce Brosnan, Colin Firth. Now Lily James plays the young Meryl Streep. Christine Baranski's in it again. Andy Garcia, and then Cher makes an appearance, and she's awesome.
And is she a newcomer? Was she in the first one?
She wasn't in the first one.
Okay.
She plays the grandmother, or the great-grandmother. But it's basically the story of, on the Greek Isle, Meryl Streep. I don't want to say what happens, but the first one, she doesn't, it's one of 3 men that she had this baby with, and they all come to the island for the daughter's wedding. Well, the second one, the daughter's opening a hotel, so she brings the 3 fathers back, and they all claim her as their father, but we kind of know which one it is.
Right, which we think
Pierce Brosnan.
Gotcha.
But there's a couple of kind of, little twists and turns, and I just loved it. Do we have a clip? Should we show or no?
I do not have a clip for it.
It is so cute, though. Like, I saw it also on Broadway, Mamma Mia, and it makes you want to get up and, like you do at the end of the Broadway show, and stand up in the aisle and dance. I mean, it's really cute.
Did you have that same experience with La La Land, or is that a totally different kind of musical?
That one, because you don't know the songs really. This
gotcha.
are all the ABBA songs that you know and love.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like ABBA? Most guys don't really.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do? You like ABBA?
Definitely.
Okay. Because I ran into a guy friend of mine in the hall afterwards. I'm like, what'd you think? Are you going to that? He's like, I'm absolutely not going to see it. I cannot stand ABBA. And I was like, oh, is that most guys?
See, even though I like the music, I'm not sure if I could get into it just because I have trouble with musicals.
You'll like the first one better. But it's very, even though let's give it very, very popcorn worthy. Very. In fact, I'll probably go see it again. I was so entertained. It's directed by the guy who did Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, about that hotel in India. And it had all those, maybe Judi Dench and all those characters in it. And then there was another one. And he also did, he's done quite a few things. But I loved it.
Is it the same director as the first one?
I don't think it is, which I think is interesting.
Because a lot of times, it's kind of a crapshoot when it's a totally different
director. Yeah, I think it's a different director. But I loved it. And then we both saw Skyscraper.
And I think we both already forgot.
Yeah, I know. So we both just came in and said, we didn't even talk about it yet because we thought we'd wait till be on air to talk about it.
Yes, and it was one that I was very open-minded about because I love The Rock. And I'm like, it's not a long run time. I like Neve Campbell.
Loved seeing her.
And I'm thinking, like, this has the makings of, like, just, I didn't think it was going to be an Oscar winner, but I thought pure entertainment.
Well, okay, do you have a clip of it?
I don't. I'm totally slacking on clips this week. Because we ended up doing the show a little earlier than, we thought we were doing it earlier than expected.
Oh, no, it's fine. I don't even know if you can get that much out of the clips. But do you want to tell them kind of what it's about? Because I thought that it was silly, the whole premises.
It is a goofier harder to believe version of Die Hard, except a lot more techie with this futuristic building. And they add in the fact that The Rock's character is an amputee, which makes it,
And what was up with that?
Which I thought was something that would make it more interesting or exciting.
Me too,
and
no.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Could not be less interested. And
it didn't add to the story at all.
no, not in any way. It's because it didn't really impact the plot very much.
Not at all.
Or the characters.
Neve Campbell from Scream, and then she was on a long-running TV show too, but y'all know who we're talking about.
Yeah, was it? I don't know. I can't remember.
I liked seeing her because she's a pretty good actress, and we haven't seen her anything.
And she's one of those, almost like Pierce Brosnan in Mamma Mia, who people like just associate with one role, even though she can do other stuff. But people just think Neve Campbell, Scream, like Pierce Brosnan, James Bond.
Exactly. I thought the same thing, but I thought you might find the skyscraper kind of interesting because of it's almost kind of science fiction aspect. But I wanted it to be, and you won't remember this film, when I was a little girl, Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
Or Poseidon
Adventure.
I thought it was going to be one of those where they're in a skyscraper and it's realistically things that would help you get out of the skyscraper. It was too
a natural disaster.
Right, more of a natural disaster. It was just silly.
Very over the top.
Very silly. The director, Ross and Marshall Thurber, he did with The Rock Central Intelligence, and he also did We Were the Millers, that hilarious movie with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
And Dodgeball. So he's obviously done some comedies.
Some successful
and they're comedies. And was this one trying to be a comedy? It was an action thriller.
No, I thought it was more trying to be like a... They couldn't decide what they wanted it to be because it had the sci-fi mixed in, and it was almost like they wanted to be a Lethal Weapon or a Die Hard, but just wasn't.
It wasn't at all.
No, none of it really works. I don't think.
Not at all. I would say, again, I was bored and kind of almost fell asleep in it. I can't. I'm gonna give it half popped.
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm bordering on bag full of kernels, but I wouldn't say it's terrible.
Right. I was disappointed because I've been looking forward to that.
And I like The Rock, and I felt the same way about San Andreas. I thought it was totally forgettable.
Yes.
Not a good summer blockbuster.
I liked that
either.
one maybe a little bit better though, even.
Yeah, more entertaining.
Yeah. He is so likable, isn't he, though? He reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I can totally see that. A modern version.
Yeah, you just want to give him a big hug. There's just something so likable about him.
Yeah, and that translates to film.
But this one, not so much. I'm just very disappointed. So don't go see that, but go see Mamma Mia and possibly Ant-Man. Then I got to see, okay, well, wait, before we get to this, I was at the movie theater the other day, and this was so upsetting. I usually buy my tickets ahead of time on Fandango. Do you do that? Buy yours early?
Sometimes I do, except now at the Cinemark I go to most of the time, Cinemark Plano West. I'll give them a little plug. They have tons of kiosks right when you walk in the door that are very user-friendly, and so now I actually will just do it when I get there.
Okay. Well, I usually get it early. So the other day, it has been like a year since I've gone to the box office, y'all. I go up to the box office. I'm not going to say where and the sweet little 20-year-old behind the counter said, "Do you need a senior ticket?" What? I'm not close to being a senior citizen.
Not even close. Don't let that get to your head because you in no way look like a senior.
So I was like, as many times as I said to the poor little girl, I go, "Do I look like a senior citizen?" I'm like, that's very offensive. I said it to her, and I go, "I wouldn't be asking your customers if they need a senior citizen ticket. If they want a senior citizen ticket, they will say, 'Could I have a senior citizen ticket?'"
Yes. Or sometimes if you just look old enough, they will give you a senior ticket, but they'll never draw attention to it like that.
But is senior citizen ticket, is it 62 or 65?
Yes. Like my dad's had that where they've given it to him before, and he's like, that's kind of a bummer, but he is 64. So.
Okay, but maybe it's 62. But I don't even look close to 60,
Not even close.
do I?
No.
Like all of a sudden I was sitting here going, I was almost brought some tape into the studio today to tape back.
No, not at all. No one watching right now thinks that you look like a senior citizen, I promise.
Oh, that was very upsetting. But so that happened the other day at the theater. So I will, from now on, buy my tickets online.
I'm glad you said something about it, though.
Very upsetting. You little ticket takers.
Just as a goof,
Beware.
I went and saw Jurassic Park again with my parents, and I was doing the kiosk thing for them, and I got my dad a senior ticket, and I told him about it, and he was like, "Good, great."
Good.
But
yeah, I know. Well, so a friend of mine, I was telling her, of course I've told the world, my friend goes, you should have said, yeah, you would have gotten a better rate on your ticket. I'm like, no, I did not want to.
It's a pride thing.
It was a pride thing. It's funny. And you know, speaking of your apps, like some people love Movie Phone and some people love Fandango. Do you prefer one or the other?
Fandango.
Yeah, me too. Isn't that funny?
And I don't know why exactly. It's just, and I like that they have the Rotten Tomato score always with it. And yeah, I just like
I get all my info from there. I just thought that was funny. So I was at the theater. I went to the Dallas International Film Festival has screenings, and the USA Film Festival things throughout the year for their members. I'm members of both, and they did. I thought this was interesting. Occasionally they'll do this. They did a screening of the 6th season of Orange Is the New Black. You know, and she's from Nigeria, but she doesn't have I think her family is. But they had a discussion with Layla Muhammad from that show Morning Dose, W33 or something. I know it's called Morning Dose. It's syndicated.
Oh, Morning Dose. I think that is CW.
Yeah, CW. But
right across the street.
Right. Yeah. Well, she did the interview with her after the screening, and that was a lot of fun. We have a couple of clips, or one of them. Want to show one of them or no?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, let me load this in. I totally forgot we had those.
But that was really interesting just to see the script. You know, I only watched the first 3 seasons of Orange Is the New Black, but I think if I came into the 6th season, I could pick right back up. All the characters pretty much have remained the same. There was, in this last season, there was someone like a riot, and they... Oh, there it is.
Sorry, our clip's rolling them.
There it is.
Jumped ahead a little.
There she is.
Uzo. We're like setting up lines, and I was like myself and Jen.
That might have been a short clip.
Oh yeah, that was very short.
I took a few.
Well, first of all, it was awesome because there were real turntables in there, and before we started, I was like on there playing with them. So like that was really fun. Like we're like setting up lines, and I was like myself and Jen.
She could not look more different than she does on the show.
I know, she was very beautiful.
Because
on the show, she has those funny little braids all over her hair and does those crazy eyes.
And always eyes are bugging, yeah.
But that was fun to meet her and see her in person and talk about it. But she is a stage actress, and she had been in Hollywood about, 7 years. What the typical deal was about to give up. You hear this over and over again, the 7 or 9 year deal.
Yep.
And she gets that, she goes in to read for another role. But then they called her back. I was like, you've watched it. You know who I'm talking about.
Absolutely. I saw the first 3 seasons, and I haven't seen it watched since, but I definitely know the characters.
Well, I'm like, did the writer write that the way you're portraying it? She said she wrote the lines, but then I gave it my own spin.
Right.
Because she's just so funny.
It's a unique, character for sure.
Yeah, very unique. Obviously, like schizophrenic or something, but
who I think in the first season. She's the character that's originally obsessed with Piper Chapman, the central protagonist.
That is one reason. I mean, I'm totally fine with gays and lesbians, but it had way too much lesbian stuff.
There's a lot of sexual content in
the show. It just was the sexual content was just overload, and hopefully they backed away from that. It was unnecessary. I mean, it might be reality, because it's based on a true story.
Yeah,
Piper was really a person that went to jail. But
and it's a lot like a lighter version, much lighter than the TV show Oz on HBO, which I was a fan of back when it aired.
Oh, my husband loved that show too. But that was a fun thing to do. And so look for, I think season 6 starts in a couple of weeks. Okay.
And it's a Netflix original. I think it's the first Netflix show I ever watched.
One of the first Netflix originals. Yeah.
And you can get them all at once, which I love.
In fact, my husband. Did I tell you about my husband loving Netflix now?
Oh no.
Okay, so we have a big TV in our room, and I've always gotten my computer and watched Netflix, and he's, watching Naked and Afraid or, Pickers or one of those shows on TV. And so he was out of town with some guy friends, and they were golfing, he didn't golf, so he started binge watching stuff on Netflix. So I got us a ginormous TV for our bedroom that has Netflix on it. He's hooked. He's like, we're on like our 6th. We are binge watching like crazy everything. He's like, wait, last night I made him watch 4 episodes. Retribution, it's a Netflix original. It's only 4. He goes, oh my gosh, I have to stay up until 2 in the morning and finish this series. There's 4 of them. But so we're having a blast with Netflix. That's really fun. So
you should check out 13 Reasons Why. It was a good binge show.
Well, I know, and I still have not done it. We've talked about it several times, and I'm going to. That subject, for some reason, I don't want to watch, but everybody loves it.
It's one I thought I was going to hate because I'm like, this is, it seemed like a show because Elise was really into it, and it's about high school drama.
Right.
I'm like, this is kind of a chick show. But I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's good for everybody, but I could totally be wrong on that.
I'll watch it.
I'm sure it's not for everybody. But I also meant to ask, since we both saw The Purge, I didn't know this till the second time, but I stayed after the movie, the credits were rolling, and I was just kind of looking at my phone, and they had a sneak peek trailer at the Purge TV series coming to USA.
Oh.
It actually looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope that's good. I think it could be.
It could be.
I hope they make it more like the original one with Ethan Hawke, that storyline, because that was interesting.
Definitely. I hope that USA can make it as gritty as the movies are, because you usually think like HBO or Netflix, where they can do whatever they want, and USA has to.
They
be
may
more,
not. Yeah.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that. Also on Netflix, there's a good series I liked, Marcella. Have you seen that?
I'm not familiar with that.
That's a good one. I highly recommend that. They just came out with their second season. What I'm looking for on Netflix, and maybe y'all can suggest, is they're all, and I'm loving them all these murder mysteries, serial killers, whatever. But I wish there was something light and fun, like The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, more of that stuff.
Yeah.
Netflix stuff. There just doesn't seem to be on Netflix. It's
You're
all
right.
this dark stuff.
It is all heavy.
It's heavy, but okay. Another film before we wrap it up that I want to recommend to y'all. It's called Leave No Trace with Ben Foster. You know who Ben Foster is.
Absolutely. I
was
just watched
in
Hell or High Water.
Hell
the
or
other
High
night.
Water, yeah. I think he's just one of the most underrated actors. Well, this film, Leave No Trace, is 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's directed by Deborah Granick, I believe is her name. She did Winter's Bone with Jennifer Lawrence. That put Jennifer Lawrence. She won an Academy Award for her portrayal of that daughter of that crack addict. You know the story.
Sure.
Ben Foster's in it. This cute girl, Thomasin McKenzie, but it's a breakout performance for her. I think a lot like Jennifer Lawrence. But this movie is basically about he's a veteran of the war, or whatever current war we've had, and in the Middle East. He comes back. He has a daughter. The wife had died or something, and he has a hard time living in society. So he and his daughter live up in the forest, and just she wants to be with her father, but she don't want to live that life really. And it's just very interesting. And the end has a great ending, but it's a slow moving movie.
I was reading a review for it, and they were saying that same thing, and that Ben Foster, it's weird to see him in a role that's so
slow,
flat, almost, a character that's not overly dynamic.
Exactly. But he gives a great performance. I mean, a lot of times you just see him unwrapping a package. You're like, oh, come on, that's. Yeah. But it's great acting, and the story is interesting, and I love the twist at the end. Kind of, if you can be patient and watch kind of a beautiful film. I mean, it's kind of a sad film, but it's filmed pretty in the forest of, I believe they're Seattle. I don't know if you'd like it, a young guy. I mean, it's
because it's a slow burn, and is it a long run time also?
Kinda, but I liked it. Did you like Winter's Bone? Do you remember that?
I've never seen Winter's Bone.
It's that kind of feel, just a slow, pretty good dramatic film.
Is it kind of like, I mean, obviously the plots are completely different, but the style of film similar almost to The Assassination of Jesse James?
Yes, slow like that. Not nearly as good, but it's slow like that. But I mean, come on, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Obviously, people are liking it.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely critically
acclaimed.
Yes.
But I'd say Ben Foster, I'd like to see him in more things. So
I think, I could be wrong by this, hopefully I'm not spreading gossip, but I've heard he's almost like Edward Norton, where he's very difficult to work with.
I think
and that's prevented him from being such a mainstream success.
Or a Sean Penn kind of guy.
Yeah. Or Russell Crowe, I think I've heard that.
Well, okay, Robin Wright was married to Sean Penn, and then right when she got a divorce, she started dating Ben Foster. I thought that was interesting.
Oh, I did not know that.
They're not dating anymore, but he is 10 or 15 years younger than her. So I thought that was interesting.
That is strange.
Little
strange,
celebrity gossip, Kevin.
Yeah.
So I don't have any more movies to talk. Well, Unfriended starts this weekend, and something else. Oh, Equalizer 2.
Oh, that's I totally forgot about Equalizer 2.
Heard everybody said
no good.
Yeah,
I liked the first one.
I loved it. They said the plot would the word be convoluted, kind of just.
Yeah.
But I probably will go see it.
I thought about it, but
maybe not.
If it's not, yeah. And I'm a huge Denzel Washington fan.
But
Training Day is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Training Day, oh my God, that's kind of like Casino or Goodfellas. It comes on the TV and you're looped in.
Absolutely, I can't tell you how many times I've watched it halfway through already.
Exactly, it's a great film. But I'm more likely probably to go see this weekend. Well, I won't. I'm going to be out of town actually, but Unfriended.
Yeah.
I think that looks good. I don't even know who's in it, but it looks like a creepy.
And I like horror this time of year, too. I enjoy it. That's why I actually, it was good timing for The Purge, but not a great Purge movie.
You know what my daughter said today? I thought it was interesting because she really doesn't watch her so much, and we've talked about this. I said, I want to go see Unfriended, but it doesn't have a very good, let me see what the Rotten Tomatoes score was, like 57%.
I didn't even know it was that high.
And she said, well, Mom, they never give good Rotten Tomato scores for horror films. Isn't that funny?
That is so true.
She knew, but you've said that many times.
Oh, yes. Yep, she's totally right.
So I thought that was funny because you've pointed that out.
You cannot judge a horror movie by its Rotten Tomato score.
You just have to go with what you want to go with.
Yep.
Okay, well, I guess that's it. We will see you back here next Friday. And until then, go enjoy the movies.